Thomas De Quincey was born 1785 to die 1859. Thomas Person De Quincey. So, Thomas De Quincey full name is Thomas Person De Quincey. Was English essayist best known for his Confession of an English Opium Eater in 1821. Why this work comes in the Opium Eater in 1821 means Thomas De Quincey addicted for opium eater. So maybe he has a interested for to write like a confession of an English opium eater in 1821. De Quincey inaugurated addiction literature in England. So he is fascinated for English literature, and he was son of the merchant who has doing business we can call like a merchant. So his father was a merchant. He was born in a Manchester, England. After reading lyrical ballad, he was relieved from depression. So we know that lyrical ballad was written by the William Wordsworth and Coleridge. When it was written means 1798. So you just think about the Thomas De Quincey was reading after the lyrical ballad. He was relieved from the depression. In July 1818, De Quincey became an editor of the Westmoreland Gazette, a Tory newspaper, and he resigned from the post in November 1819. You know that the 1 year later he resigned for the Westmoreland Gazette, that is the Tories newspaper, in 1819. De Quincey Confession of an English Opium Eater and Charles Lamb Essay of Elia both appeared together in the London Magazine in 1823. You know that Charles Lamb was also a romantic poet. He has a pen name is called Elia. So whatever essays under he write Essays of Elia written by the Charles Lamb. So you just discuss about the Thomas De Quincey Confession of an English Opium Eater. At the same time, Charles Lamb's Essay of Elia both appeared together in the London Magazine in the same year called in 1823. So, and the next work is called Suspiria de Profundis in 1845, and the English Mail Coach in 1849 appeared in the Blackwoods magazine. So these two works mentioned in the Blackwood magazine, Thomas De Quincey and Suspiria de Profundis in 1845 and the English Mail Coach in 1849. And we have another work is called Joan of Arc, was published in a Times magazine. And we discussed the 22 volumes of De Quincey, Thomas De Quincey's writing were issued from 1851 to 1859. In this period, in 1851 to 1859, he wrote in 22 volumes. In 1850, Thomas De Quincey was the regular contributor to the Edinburgh periodical called Hugg's Weekly Instructor. So keep in your mind, in 1850, Thomas De Quincey was a regular contributor to the Edinburgh periodicals called Hugg's Weekly Instructor. In 1856 edition, the Confession of an English Opium Eater, we already discussed this work was written in 1821, and another edition published in 1856, the Confession of an English Opium Eater was prepared for the inclusion in the Selection Grave and Gay published by James Hogg. Okay, the first volume of Selection Grave and Gay appeared in May 1853, and 14th last appeared in 1860. So De Quincey Diary was published in 1827. So Thomas De Quincey also wrote the diary, and which year means in 1827, and Literary Reminiscence is his famous critical work, this containing a brilliant appreciation of some writers. Some romantic writers are called Wordsworth, Charles Lamb, P.B. Shelley, John Keats, Hazlitt and Landor. So the Literary Reminiscence was brilliantly appreciated by the authors called William Wordsworth, Charles Lamb, P.B. Shelley, Keats, Hazlitt and Landor. And the next work we are going to discuss on the knocking at the Gate of Macbeth in 1823 is the brilliant critical essay. And the Knocking at the Gate of Macbeth in 1823, in his brilliant critical essay, actually we know that Shakespeare wrote Macbeth. Based on that, Thomas De Quincey give a name is called on the Knocking at the Gate of Macbeth. It is a critical essay. And the next work is called On Murder, considered as one of the fine arts in 1827, is a humorous essay by Thomas De Quincey. And Murder, considered as one of the fine arts in 1827, humorous essay by the Thomas De Quincey. And we know that a series of 30 articles were collected by in 1853. We can call like a autobiographical sketches. And we have another work, Logic of Political Economy, and the essay on Style and Rhetoric, and Philosophy of Herodotus are also important works by the Thomas De Quincey. And Encyclopedia Britannica was the article, and Goethe, Pope, Schiller and Shakespeare. His famous quote, "Not to sympathize is not to understand." So Thomas De Quincey's famous quotations, "Not to sympathize is not to understand." De Quincey is known for living for 10 years in the 5 cottages. So you know that he living for 10 years in the 5 cottages. De Quincey addresses the problems of plagiarism in especially the romantic part is called Coleridge. So problems of plagiarism in Coleridge told by the Thomas De Quincey. So we have so many works of Thomas De Quincey. The Confession of an English Opium Eater in 1821, Letters to a Young Man, and the third work is called Joan of Arc in 1847, and the fourth work is Results of Tortoise in 1840, and fifth work is called English Mail Coach in 1849 in 3 parts, and the sixth work is called Dreams, for the last work of De Quincey, and seventh Suspiria de Profundis in 1845. It means sign from the depth. And the next work, Autobiographical Sketches, it is collection of 30 articles in 1853 he published. And the next work is Logic of Political Economy, and 10th work, the Essay on Style and Rhetoric, and 11th work, Philosophy of Herodotus, and 12th work, Encyclopedia Britannica, and 13th work on the Knocking at the Gate of Macbeth was published in 1823, and the 14th work, and the Murderer, considered as one of the fine arts in 1827, and 15th work, Lake Reminiscences, the Literary Reminiscences, and 16th work Revolts of Tartars, and 17th work Collection of the Lake Poets. So the collection of lake poets especially talks about the romantic age lake poets. And Confession of an English Opium Eater in 1821. It was by Thomas de Quincey in the account for his opium and alcoholic addict. So I already told you because he addicted from the opium. So it was the first major work of Thomas de Quincey. The firstly it was published anonymously in September in 1821 in London Magazine, but it was released in 1822 in the book forms. First it published in the magazine, and after it will comes in 1822 a book form. It was organized in two parts. The part 1 begins a notice to the reader. I here present you, Countess reader, with a record of a remarkable period in my life. A revised edition was published in 1856 for the publisher James Hughes. This edition was spoiled by revision.